On this episode, 12 or so places to avoid when society collapses. Hey everyone, I'm Scott Hughes and this is episode 10 of the Pondering Prepper Show, and today we're talking about places to avoid after an SHTF situation. This weekend we're supposed to get up to 18 inches of snow between Friday and Saturday. Not necessarily a shift situation, but a good way to gauge what it would be like when a true survival situation hits. I have no doubt that come Friday afternoon, early evening, likely just hours before the storm hits, half of my town will be in Kroger and the other half will be in Walmart, and they're going to be snatching up all the toilet paper, bread, and water they can find. You know what? Maybe I'll go to the store Friday just to get some footage of the madness. It's humorous to watch, but not funny when you think of the reason they're there in the first place is because they aren't prepared. Anyway, let's get into today's show and what places you should avoid when it hits the fan and society collapses. Number one on our list is public shelters and FEMA camps. Personally, I don't like the idea of putting myself or my family in the hands of the government for anything that I don't have to. I have no doubt that the vast majority of the population will see a FEMA camp as a safe place. You know, somewhere they can get 3 hot meals and somewhat of a cozy bed. And I'm also sure as a prepper, I'm not going to need their help. If a FEMA camp is your only option, then sorry, but if you aren't prepared, it may be the best route to go. You may be better off there than anywhere else. Not me and not my family. Hopefully not you and yours either. See, the danger inside these camps isn't necessarily the government, it's the other people inside. This became insanely clear in New Orleans when Katrina forced millions of people from their homes. Many of those people went to the Superdome, which was set up as a temporary FEMA camp, and then pretty much instantly bad things started happening in there because there were just too many people and not enough policing going around, whether it be the government policing or self-policing. You know, you got some people were robbed, beaten, and even raped. You couldn't take your firearm in there for personal security, so right from the start, your price of entry was giving up your Second Amendment right. Next up on our list are grocery stores and shopping centers. I already mentioned what our local Kroger and Walmart's going to look like this Friday evening, and I'm sure you've seen those black videos, right? You know, the ones that show us at our finest, where we're fighting over a $5 toaster or a $10 coffee maker. Those kind of things, that's going to be nothing in comparison to what will happen at our grocery stores in a survival event. Even if you think you're going to pay using cash, the registers are going to be down, and most people these days have a really hard time with basic math, so good luck with that. And you know the first items to go, right, in these kind of situations: food, water, and toilet paper. Since many people have failed to stockpile these items, they will do pretty much whatever they can to get their hands on it. Another 2 types of stores that will be hit hard are pharmacies and liquor stores. Look, some people will put their vices above their needs and necessities for survival. To these people, the ability to escape the situation, either by drinking or smoking their worries away, it's just easier. Also, valuable medication, which many will need for staying alive, is going to be high priority for a lot of people, but you're going to find a lot of it's just going to get crushed on the floor as people stampede through the pharmacies looking for the drugs they just can't go without. Keep in mind that these people that are willing to loot these places aren't new to this type of thing. Stepping across the line into committing acts of violence on others isn't really that big of a step for them. If they think you have what they want, they will do whatever they feel necessary to get it from you. Next up, major highways and intersections. Whether you find yourself bugging out or just trying to get from one place to another, you're going to want to avoid major highways and crossing any kind of major intersection. The majority of people know these routes. They go them every single day, and they're going to be using the routes that they already know and they're comfortable with. It's been proven time and time again that anytime there's a disaster, the main roads get jammed pretty much immediately. Then people are going to find themselves stranded and possibly right in the middle of the disaster with no way out. Some people have found themselves in traffic jams over 100 miles long in these kind of situations with absolutely nowhere to go. So you want to make sure you know the back roads. Always learn alternative routes to your bug out location. Then find an alternative route to that alternative route. The only exception to this rule would be if you were able to get out ahead of the crowd and beat the traffic. This is where you would have to put your bug out plan into action early, which would better your odds anyway. Next on our list is gas stations. You remember Hurricane Harvey, right? It wasn't that long ago. And people thought they were in the clear because the storm was changing direction, but quickly realized about the refineries in Texas were about to be shut down. meaning fuel would be in very high demand. Of course, the thought of the refinery shutting down led to mass panic, with people realizing there's a gas shortage coming. Lines quickly formed several blocks long, with people rushing to fill up every vehicle they had before the prices were jacked up or the gas pumps just ran dry. You know, some of these people found themselves waiting for several hours just to end up not getting any gas at all. So in these cases, in any case really, you want to make sure you have enough fuel to get wherever you need to be, or wherever you're going to go. Don't expect to swing by the local gas station and fill up your truck. It's not going to happen. Not quickly anyway. And if you wait too long, then you're not going anywhere at all. You're going to be stuck in town with everybody else. For that reason alone, don't just settle for keeping your vehicle fueled up. Get some extra gas cans and store as much fuel safely as you possibly can. Okay, number 6 on our list is hardware and sporting goods stores. These two probably won't be immediately looted. They're going to be an afterthought for a lot of people, as many people don't frequent these stores unless there's a necessity to go, or unless you're like me, who makes a trip to the Home Depot at least twice a week. Don't tell my wife. I don't think she watches these videos anyway, so we're safe. So as people start realizing the situation, when they see the condition of grocery stores, the gas stations, the pharmacies, the liquor stores, they're going to start trying to think of other stores that are going to have supplies that they need or can use. So if sporting goods stores cross their mind, they're going to realize all the outdoor survival gear, not to mention guns and ammo, that's going to aid them in surviving whatever disaster's on the way or that's hit right now. At first, people are going to go into these kind of stores looking for just what they need. I'm just going to take what I need and leave everything else. But as soon as they see what other stores have to offer or what everybody else is grabbing up, they're just going to start snatching up everything they possibly can, because that's what we do. Number 7 on our list is public parks and downtown areas. It's natural to most people to gather in public places, especially when there's a major event happening. Parks, squares, whatever your town has, become a place for finding news and staying updated on what's happening. People are going to gather there. These places also eventually become a place for bartering, depending on how long the event happens, which can be a good thing eventually. Until order is established at these places, it's going to be total chaos and a very dangerous place to hang out. People that prey on others will recognize this as a place with a high number of potential targets, basically people who have things that they can steal. Next up on our list is government offices. Who wants to hang out there anyway? But in our society, people no longer take action, right? Or rather, the action has been redefined more as complaining. There are more of these activists, aka complainers, than there are people willing to actually take action on what they believe. So you can be sure that your government offices are going to be packed with these activists demanding action and assistance from their government. Next up, some people are going to think of check cashing and quickie loan type offices as high priority. There's a lot of people in this society that are used to cashing their paychecks at places that don't require an ID or are just convenient when you don't have a bank account. So they know that these places are going to have plenty of cash on hand and not the kind of security you're going to find at a traditional bank. Auto parts stores are on our list too. If you go back during the LA riots, like back in '92, the auto parts stores were stripped pretty quickly. People took anything from motor oil or brake pads to carburetors, anything they needed for tune-ups or repairs. This will hold true during a disaster too, except this time they can barter the items or offer repairs for higher prices or for things they need. What about shoe stores? Don't count them out as a place that people aren't going to want to go and loot. If you go back to the Panama conflict in 1989, you're going to find that the very next day after the initial attack, every kid in the country had a brand new pair of shoes on. So imagine those fancy shoe stores that carry those high-priced Jordans, LeBrons, or Yeezys. What are they going to look like? Bottom line, shoes are important to people. So those high-end brands are on the minds of a lot of people, and they're going to take advantage of the situation and grab as many pairs as they can, which makes the shoe store going to be a very crowded and dangerous place to go. Count hospitals out as a place to avoid. I know it may sound weird for a hospital to be listed on a place to avoid during a disaster, but they're going to be really overrun with injured people. Even those not injured might make their way to the hospital to get help for family members, take shelter, or try to take the place over, seeking medical attention or supplies. Hospitals will be a place with high emotion and a risk of violence, as people will likely lose control, especially when things don't happen how they want or maybe not fast as they would like. And you got to think hospitals and surrounding areas are going to be like basically a huge petri dish for viruses and bacteria. You will likely have limited medical supplies on hand, So you're going to want to avoid getting sick when possible in these kind of situations. So basically avoid the places that are the breeding grounds for viruses and bacteria. Okay, there you have it. 10 of the top places you're going to want to avoid when it hits the fan and society collapses. A couple other places that came to mind just real quick. Police stations, military bases, prisons, and any kind of bottleneck location like a cul-de-sac, a dead-end street, places like that. Add those to the list and avoid those as well. Now that you know where to avoid, you're going to want to take a look around your neighborhood and see where your home is located in relation to any of the places we discussed today. Make sure if you are in the potential path of looting or chaos, to have a solid escape route. Stock up on everything we've talked about in previous episodes so you won't be caught trying to play catch up with everyone else as they bombard these stores. And that way you can get out of Dodge before they make their way to your neighborhood. Or if you're staying home for the disaster, make sure you have supplies like food and water, but also supplies to help fortify your home against the disaster that's coming and whoever might want to try to get in and take what you have. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of the Pondering Prepper. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for watching. Before we sign off, wanted to mention real quick that we still have pre-orders open for our Volume 2 Survival Notes, which is all about blizzard preparedness. Right now it's 60 degrees, but tomorrow it's going to be, I think, 18 degrees with 6 inches of snow. I'll leave a link to the page where you can grab your copy of them. They're just $10 during the pre-order phase. One final thing, I'll leave a link to our merch page, our apparel shop, where you can see our hoodies and t-shirts that we have available. Thanks again for watching. If you liked the video, go ahead, hit the thumbs up. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, and be sure to share with anyone you think would find this kind of information useful. Until next time, stay always ready, my friends. Take care.